One man shares his supernatural experiences when we come back. Heaven, or one concept of it. Many people claim to have been there, and in today's episode, we'll hear from one man, Felix Halpern, who's not only been to heaven, but has had many supernatural experiences. So now let's hear from Felix Halpern on what heaven really looks like.
This is Rabbi Felix Halpern with the great privilege of sharing with you my journey into heaven and what heaven means to us, not only as believers, but what eternity holds for us. I've known the Lord for 45 years. I've had some wonderful experiences with the Lord, but nothing can measure up to what happened the moment where I medically died, my soul left my body, and I ascended into the heavens. When I first went to heaven, I found myself before the throne of God. And around the throne was a circle of fire with ripples and ripples of fire that had a depth that I could not measure. And therein I found myself lying prostrate before the Lord because my eyes could not behold the brilliance. Even upon my return and back in my life today, when I go into the presence of the Lord, I have to cover my eyes. Something has just imprinted inside of me, upon my soul, of the brilliance and the glory of God. God is a God of glory. Heaven is the showcase of the perfection of our Creator. Everything in heaven is filled with gold. I saw a river, and at that river, I want you to know that I saw redeemed in robes that were so brilliant, so white, that I could not even behold that brilliance of the perfection of that color. There was a glow. But as I saw this river, I recall so clearly a water that was so crystal clear, clearer than I think that I would find at the highest mountain that I could climb, and the most natural spring of water that was untouched by anything known to us here. It was clearer. In fact, the water seemed to be life-giving in of itself. As I looked at the riverbed, they sparkled with gemstones, brilliant stones, precious stones and semi-precious stones. I was in awe of that, especially for myself. It had meaning. Before my full-time call to the Lord, I spent many years in the diamond and gold industry handling the most precious diamonds and rubies and pearls and gold bars that weighed 400 ounces and more, worth a fortune in our worldly standards. And do you know that the stones in heaven that lied on the bottom of that riverbed, whether it was the lapis lazuli that I remember that had a blue that I have never ever experienced in my life, the brilliance of those sparkling stones have no comparison. They're incomparable to anything that I have ever seen. And I saw, again, as I said, the redeemed. What was interesting about the redeemed, they were talking. There was something about their voice that had a deep resonance. It had a commanding, a certain confidence, a certain conviction about them. I thought about that, and I said, of course, they live in truth. They live fully in a state of truth, a knowledge. Years ago, the Lord spoke to my heart that He was bringing me back to the calling to our people, the Jewish people. At 3 a.m., the Lord spoke into my left ear and said something very simple. I am bringing you back to your people. I referenced that because it was the same tone, the same depth, the same authority that the Lord spoke into my left ear, and the same authority that I witnessed of the redeemed. They were in a state of joy, in a state of peace, in a state of knowing that they were home. And I experienced that. The object of death itself is something that was what I like to compare to as beautiful as birth, which sounds strange, doesn't it? But I can only say that when my soul left my body and literally stepped out of my physical frame, it literally stepped up and walked out and rose, like I was getting up from a night's sleep. Or I think of it'd be like I'm leaving the hotel room to go to another place. Everything is congruent, consistent with the creative hand of our God. And I saw mountains that ascended into the canopy of blue. And can I tell you something about the blue? The blue to me was like a rainbow all together in an iridescent glow that had a tone to it and a hue to it that is, again, something I have never seen in my life. And I saw the mountains ascend into a canopy that had no limit. Heaven has streets of gold. The gates I saw said the place, it said truth and righteousness. Gates of pearl. I've never seen pearl like that. And a foundation of gold throughout, and gemstones and precious stones throughout. There was a glow in the air. There was a glow in the air of a holiness. And I remember distinctly that no matter where you are in heaven, the throne seems to be close. The throne does not seem to be far away. The throne sat on a crystal sea of firmament that separated the third heaven from the lower heavens. And I was in awe before God when I saw a shadow of an outline, but I was able to see the footstool and the image of the feet on the crystal sea, and the Lord can see everything. And I want to say to you, wherever you are, whatever season you're in, whatever struggles you find yourself in, would you look up to heaven? Would you look up to heaven by posturing your heart and asking the Lord to come into your life? Because it is He that is the key to the glory, to the strength, and to the power. But it is the key to life living abundantly on this earth with the presence of God in your life. Heaven is our destination. Heaven is real. Heaven is the glorious place. Finally, it is the showcase of our Lord and King.
Well, I don't know about you, but I love supernatural stories, especially when they deal with heaven. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, I'm Brad Polk for Encounters from Beyond the Veil.